What is up, guys? Lot of Dividends here, and welcome to another monthly dividend portfolio update. It is the 1st of November, and so yeah, the month of October is past, and our current portfolio sits at a value of around 4.5 thousand euros. The current yield is sitting at around 3.5%, which is a little bit lower than last month, but of course still quite a long shot away from where I want it to be. The goal is maybe, I would say, below 2%, but since I'm not going to sell any shares that are high yielders, I'm simply going to add more of the lower yielders with a great growth of the dividend. This might take quite some time to come lower. Compared to last month, my forward monthly income, as well as, of course, all my annual and weekly and daily income, are slightly up, and I'm currently at around 53% of my way to a monthly average dividend of 25 euros, which is a goal I'm planning to hit somewhere in the middle of next year, hopefully. Now, compared to last month, you can tell I've added quite a few companies to my holdings. I already went over my purchases for the month of October in a separate video, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but as you can tell, there's quite a few holdings that I added, and most of them being lower yielding stocks with impressive dividend growth. However, if we look at this pie chart here, we can tell that, yeah, 3/4 of my portfolio are in Allianz, which is a relatively high yielding German insurance, VG Properties, which of course is a REIT. Then we've got Microsoft, Pro Credit Holding, which is an asset I'm looking to sell in the near future, and Hims & Hers, which currently doesn't pay a dividend, but that's fine because I believe it has a great growth potential. And then we've got a bunch of other stocks that are very low percentages, but of course I'm going to dollar cost average into them, and if there's a great buying opportunity, I might make a larger purchase as I made with Microsoft over the last few weeks. In total, I added around 1,200 euros to my portfolio. So this puts me already above the goal for this year with 2 months to go. However, since my cash reserves are sadly finite, I won't be able to keep up this large number of contributions for many months, but that's totally fine. I believe that in the longer future, it will be somewhere around 300 to 400 euros a month. That's something that I can sustain as I'm currently studying and I don't really have that much disposable income. Performance-wise, my portfolio went down 0.3% in October. I mean, that's pretty close to the S&P, I believe. The first few weeks were great, and then like the last week was absolutely terrible. So we ended in a slight loss, which means that my true time-weighted return for the whole life of the portfolio is still negative because July was just horrendous. But I'm looking to slowly get back to positives. Looking at my worst and best performance of the month, first up we've got ASML, which is down 9.58%, which isn't too great. If we look a little bit closer, we can tell, yeah, the earnings report, which didn't really fancy too many investors because despite the EPS and revenue being a beat, the forecast wasn't that great. Especially the bookings went down quite substantially and were lower than expected, which investors didn't like. However, I used this as a buying opportunity to lower my average cost per share, and I believe ASML still has a very bright future. So I'm looking to purchase more shares of it in the coming month. My second biggest loser is AMD with minus 7.5%. And yeah, this was one of those stocks that I bought in July. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just buying some AMD because, well, why not? Well, you can tell why I shouldn't have. This is a stock that I'm also looking to sell eventually in the not too distant future. Not only because it doesn't pay a dividend, but also because I don't think it's the greatest stock in general. I mean, it's probably not as bad as Intel is, but there's a lot better companies out there to put your money into, in my belief. And the third worst performer of the past month is Pro Credit Holding, which is down 6.68%. Yeah, again, that's a company I'm looking to sell. I made this purchase in, I believe, yeah, it was early September here. but still I wasn't really that informed in what I was doing. I would say all my purchases made from October, so since I started documenting my portfolio here, are at least somewhat sensible. Everything before that I want you to excuse. Now for my best performers, let's go in reverse fashion. We'll start with the third best performer, which is Hims & Hers. And this climbed quite dramatically in the middle of October, but then it dipped down a little bit again. So up 7.9%, still pretty great, not complaining. TSMC is also up quite dramatically, 15.24% in only the past month. And this is partly due to them reporting great earnings. This was the spike right here. So yeah, I'm also looking to add more to this position. And same can be said for Booking Holdings. They also reported great earnings just a few days back, and they're up 16.36%. And I'm also looking to further expand my holding in this company. Now let's get to the highlight of today's video, which is the dividend income. And in this month, I received 3 dividend payments. I received 4 cents from Intuit, which, you know, isn't that much, but I have only invested 25 euros into the company, so whatever. I'm looking to increase my holding, and then naturally the dividend will also increase. Next, I got 72 cents from Realty Income. And then lastly, I got 3.25 euros from my other REIT, VG Properties. Now looking at the monthly, quarterly and yearly dividend comparison, we can see that, of course, October vastly outperformed September. It's not even close, which was to be expected since I missed most ex-dividend dates for September. And also VG Properties is one of my biggest positions. And since it paid out in October, makes quite a bit of sense. The quarterly dividends are just exactly the same as the monthly, because those are the only 2 months that I received dividends in. And the yearly dividends don't really make that much sense to look at. Now looking at my performance, this is not counting dividends, so this is simply subtracting the starting value and the contributions from the end value. My portfolio is down around 0.4%, which we saw earlier in portfolio performance. And I received a total of 4.01 euros in dividends. And we can see quite clearly that my forward annual income has increased by about 16 euros, which is absolutely great to see. Looking at these graphs, we can see my portfolio value and forward annual income. And as you can tell, my portfolio value went up quite a bit more than my forward annual dividends. This is simply owing to the fact that I added lower yielding companies. So this is exactly what I want to see right here. As we saw right now, my forward annual income is 159.41 euros. So this would be my annual dividend income if I wouldn't invest anymore into those companies. I didn't buy any more stocks. There were no dividend hikes, and I also wouldn't reinvest the dividends. I'm of course doing all of those, so this is expected to go up as the months progress. And as we can see, November is one of my weaker months. The February, August, November, and technically also May cycle, though May is quite a lot higher because some German companies pay their yearly dividend. For next month, I expect ASML, MasterCard, MSCI, Realty Income to pay dividends. However, these might go up slightly for some of these companies because I might add to them before the ex-dividend date, in some cases at least. Now, as for the future, I am not going to buy that many more companies for my portfolio. In fact, I've got 23 holdings even at the moment. I want to trim those long term. For example, I am looking to sell AMD. I'm also looking to sell Mercedes-Benz, as well as ProCredit Holding, Roche Holding, and Volkswagen. However, I'm looking for a good opportunity to sell them, which might not be right now. And I might add 1 or 2 more stocks for the next 2 or 3 months, but probably no more than that. So yeah, this brings me to the end of my video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel to not miss any future videos. And tell me which companies paid you and how much. I'm really interested. And if you have any suggestions, anything that I can improve in my videos, apart from my accent, those are very welcome in the comment section down below. And so yeah, thanks again for watching and see you guys in the next one.